Hey guys, what is going on? It is Karl here. Today back with another comparison video. On the left we have the iPhone 6 of course just released, and on the right we have the Sony Xperia Z2 or the Z2. I realize that the Z3 is already out, but it isn't accessible to everyone in the world yet. Some of you guys asked for this comparison, so without further ado, let's hop right into it. We'll kick things off with physical aspects first. Both of these devices are extremely well crafted. On top, we've got the iPhone 6 made out of brushed aluminum, available in 3 different colors, whereas the Z2 is also available in 3 different colors, but a bit funkier with the purple. Instead of aluminum, it is made out of glass on both panels. We've got some pretty big discrepancies in the camera specs as well. The iPhone 6 has an 8 megapixel shooter that is capable of super slow-mo 240 frames per second at 720p, whereas the Sony Z2 has a 20.7 megapixel camera that can shoot in 4K. Display-wise, the iPhone 6 has the brand new 4.7-inch Retina HD display that's 1334 by 750, whereas the Z2 has a 5.2-inch display and that's 1920 by 1080. In terms of physical design and dimensions, this is where the iPhone 6 shines. The Z2 was originally one of the thinnest Android flagships at only 8.2 millimeters thick. The iPhone 6 is an astounding 6.9 millimeters thin. And it's pretty crazy how they pack everything in there. As I mentioned, the iPhone 6 has a full unibody aluminum design, which is nice, but it does have its drawbacks. The Z2 has a micro SD card slot, which you can store up to 128 gigs, and is also IP58 certified, which means it is both waterproof and dustproof. Apple, you gotta investigate into this waterproof thing. And we'll do a boot up test to see which device loads up first. While that's loading, we'll do a performance review of what's underneath the hood. The iPhone 6 has the brand new A8 chip with the M8 Motion coprocessor, 64-bit architecture, which means it is 50 times faster and 84 times faster GPU performance than the original iPhone. On the Sony Z2 side, we've got a Snapdragon 801 chip, 2.3 GHz quad-core Crate processor, Adreno 330 GPU, and 3 gigs of RAM. According to our boot up test, the iPhone 6 turns on a slight bit faster, nothing too deal breaker-ish. I'm sure that's not even a word, but you won't miss out on those few seconds. Before we get into app loading times, we'll run a benchmark. It's Geekbench 3, one of the most popular benchmarks out there. So far in all the devices I've tested, nothing has beat the iPhone 6. And the iPhone 6, 1635 on the single core score and 2894 on the multi-core score. Whereas the Z2 has a 904 on the single side and a 2674 on the multi-core score. Getting to some real world app loading, we have no recent apps. First off, we'll kick things off with Angry Birds. I'm sure everyone has played this game at least one level. If you haven't, you've been living under a rock for sure. So I believe the iPhone 6 there was a hair bit faster, but we had an ad in the way, so I'll say that was a tie. Next off, Evernote, a popular note-taking program. Almost identical again, maybe the iPhone 6 by less than half a second. Social media time, Facebook. The iPhone 6 did load up a tad bit faster there, nothing too substantial. Next off, more social media, hit up some Instagram. I think the Z2 there took it by half a second, so we'll say things are still pretty much tied. The performance on these is almost identical. Next off, Google Maps. And I believe these were the same if this little pop-up didn't appear on the Z2. One last social media site, Twitter. iPhone 6 maybe by a hair, but once again, it won't be too noticeable. And scrolling through the feed, it is almost identical in terms of smoothness. And last but not least, we've got Temple Run 2. This is usually the deciding factor. And the winner is the iPhone 6. Once again, guys, not by much. If you don't have both of these phones side by side, you really won't notice the difference. and obviously playing is extremely smooth on both devices. I just think it comes down to personal preference in the end. And that wraps up my review comparison of the iPhone 6 to the Sony Xperia Z2. I'm sure if you have either of these smartphones, you won't be disappointed with its performance. It really comes down to operating system. Do you like Android, KitKat 4.4.2, or do you like iOS? Let me know in the comments down below which device you would rather have. If you guys found this video useful, show some thumbs up love down below. If you already haven't, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, as I have a way more iPhone 6 coverage coming out in the next couple days. And for the rest of you, I will catch you guys in my next episode. Peace.